What is? What is this? Oh, what is this?
You can get it. Big rocket on me, get it. I got it, you can get it. Got nothing on me, get it. Who want it? You can get it. Cash money, homie, get it. I got it, you can get it. Who with it? You can get it. I got it, you can get it. Big rocket on me, get it. I got it, you can get it. Got nothing on me, get it. Who want it? You can get it. Cash money, homie, get it. I got it, you can get it. Hellraiser, demon slayer, no kidding be. Run up on me playing, they'll find you with a vicious beat. Almost caught a case last time I let them things go. I don't do threats to family, now we know. Semi-automatic, red laser like Kano. Detroit's finest, I survive volcanoes. What you know about selling music in a drought? Putting God first, weapon second when you leave the house. Hellraiser, who with it? You can get it. I got it, you can get it. Big rocket on me, get it. I got it, you can get it. Got nothing on me, get it. Who want it? You can get it. Cash money, homie, get it. I got it, you can get it. Who with it? You can get it. I got it, you can get it. Big rocket on me, get it. I got it, you can get it. Got nothing on me, get it. Who want it? You can get it. Cash money, homie, get it. I got it, you can get it. I solemnly swear this ain't a diss. But if you follow Satan, drink holy piss. Jump off a cliff, skydive off the moon to a fiery pit. Yeah, that's it. Laugh now, cry later, dark angel. We running it. This the part where you dance on them. Part where you lay some hands on them. Part where you dance on them. This the part where you lay hands on them. Is it me or do these doubles think I'm playing? No tears on my face, still down to do the race. Sold my soul to God, now I'm counting them Franklins. Type to stump you out while bumping Kirk Franklin. All these fake rappers messing up the game, no. You don't write your rhymes, you be calling up your man, no. No, we ain't cool, Rick the Don still lurking. One wrong move, you be under the surface. Hellraiser, who with it? You can get it. I got it, you can get it. Big rocket on me, get it. I got it, you can get it. Got nothing on me, get it. Who want it? You can get it. Cash money, homie, get it. I got it, you can get it. Who with it? You can get it. I got it, you can get it. Big rocket on me, get it. I got it, you can get it. Got nothing on me, get it. Who want it? You can get it. Cash money, homie, get it. I got it, you can get it. You can't kill a man that's in tune with God, cause when the flesh dies, the soul flies. Good luck, you trust in the king of lies. Besides, let's rumble. Tell Satan if I ever see him, trouble.
Hey, I'll talk to you a little bit later, Oprah, okay? All right now. All right, tell Stephen I said hello. All right, I will. Okay. All right. Hey, what's going on, man? It's your man, Rick the Don. Listen, for every 5,000 records that I sell, I'm giving back $2,500. No limits to money. Ha! For buying Limits to Mercy. Ha! And just to show you I'm not playing, go to my IG right now at the Rick the Don to find out who was the very first person to buy my album, Limits to Mercy, and get $100. That's how I do it. And every time I sell 5,000 records, I'm giving $2,500 back because there's no limit to money for buying Limits to Mercy. Won't he do it? Go buy my album, I'm giving money back. It's that simple. Recap, go to rickthedon.com. Click albums, buy Limits to Mercy. Make sure you include your email. I'll get a notification that you just bought the album. Hello? He did. I got him. And every time I sell 5,000 records, I'll be kicking back $2,500. And if you help me get to 1 million records sold, no lie, I'm giving back $1 million. I don't even care no more. Need more convincing? How about this is the hardest rap album you've ever heard in your life? Got Crazy Bone on the album, Quentin Miller on the album, Binks on the album, B Rich on the album, I'm on the album. What? Go buy the hardest album you might ever hear in your life right now for your chance to win. No limits to money for copying, limits to mercy. Let's get it.
PlayStation 5, $500. Gucci bag, $2,100. Rolex watch, $12,000. BMW i4, $55,400. LA mansion, $84 million. The Mona Lisa, $100 million. Air Gordons, $57.33. The Limits to Mercy album by Rick Da Don, $20. Please, stop being cheap and support a real hustler from the Detroit streets. Ya boy Rick did it all without a record deal or major backing. If we don't support us, who will? Let's get it.
Hop a fucking car with my Jordans on. Got my jury on, curb, they cologne. I used to roll backwoods, Rick the Dawn's good wherever he goes. 1 million and one flows, depositing dough. Said you down with the mafia family, let me know. Yeah, number one, I don't do number two. They watching how I do, because I'm really hood. Red hoodie, gold jewelry, too groovy, might lose me. Don't approach with the foolery, keep the two on me, homie. You don't know me, Rick the Dawn, the one and only. Yeah.
Yo, welcome to the Really Hood podcast. What about that intro? That intro, though. What about that intro, man? It's all good, though. Hey, today's episode is sponsored by reallyhood.com. If you are a new artist or somebody trying to get some shine out here and you want other people to see your content, check out reallyhood.com. You know, I'm the CEO of reallyhood.com, and it's up and it's running right now, so you don't have to wait. It's already up and running. Obviously, we're still figuring out some things, still learning some things. So support us, man. Support us through the growth. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people want to hop on the ship once it's already built. But what I'm trying to say is support the ship while it's being built. You know what I'm saying? Be a part of it. Don't just come in when everything is done, man, when all the hard work is done, all the heavy lifting. But reallyhood.com. If you're an indie artist and you want to get your music heard, hey, you know what it is, man. Reallyhood.com. Also, I'll be uploading some cool content, you know, sports and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get to the actual topic. I don't like to waste time. And one thing about me is I won't waste a lot of time. Or if anything, I won't waste time at all because my time is so valuable, right? I'm wasting time right now talking about this. Fight the power, man. What do I mean by that? My new album, Limits to Mercy, is scheduled to come out on January 7th, 2022. So what do I mean by fight the power? Well, I'm going to release this album on my own website. And I believe that I am the forerunner of something that will soon take over. This will be the way that it happens moving forward. But I'm the first one to do it. I'm the pioneer of it. And let me explain what I'm doing before I discuss what I'm pioneering and what I'm doing is I'm removing my music. Well, actually, I'm not going to remove my music. My old music will stay on online streaming platforms. I will keep my old music on Spotify and iTunes and all that. But my new music will only be available on rickthedon.com. That's the only way you're going to get it. So what does that mean? Some people might hear that and say, wait, man, you're actually cutting off your own benefits. You're actually making your own job harder, right? Why would you not put your music on these big distributing companies like iTunes and Spotify so that people can hear your music? Why would you not do that? That doesn't make sense. And my reply would be, those platforms are stealing from the artists. How about that one? Okay. I just got a royalty check from my distributor. What was it? Last week. And that royalty check was for $10. You see what I'm saying? The royalty check was for $10. You know how many streams I got in that particular time frame? A lot. I'm not going to give you my business, but I'll say I got a lot of streams. Now, if I took my own music and went to the streets and I sold 500 CDs for $3 a pop, okay, I would bring back $1,500 or more, because sometimes if you're selling person to person, you'll maybe get tips and stuff like that. See what I'm saying? So by me putting my music on Spotify and all that, though it does help because I got some people in the Netherlands listening to me, and I couldn't travel there myself. I got some people in India listening to me because of these distributing companies. I couldn't travel to India myself, not necessarily. And by the way, let me stop everything I'm doing real quick. Hey, shout out to India, man. Shout out to India. I don't know what it is. I don't know how India is hip to Rick the Dawn, but India, for some reason, when I look at my analytics, India is showing me mad love. India is like my only fans. They like the only people who listen to me or watch me. So shout out to India. I know y'all boys out there like, oh yeah, Rick the Dawn. Hey, shout out to India, man. India be showing love, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what y'all doing out there. But I do know this. For some reason, y'all be bumping my podcast, man. Much love to India. And also, shout out to the homie in the Netherlands. It's like one person in the Netherlands that listens to Rick the Dawn that listens to my music, to Rick the Dawn. Okay, one person in the Netherlands. Like, I literally had like 19 streams from one person in the Netherlands. And they like the song Oprah. So if you're listening to this podcast, I'm Rick the Dawn. It's nice to meet you, okay? But anyway, so yes, by me removing my music from these platforms, technically I am removing my reach, right? But hold up, wait a minute. That don't make sense. And this is what I was thinking when I broke down what I'm about to start doing. It don't make sense. We have the World Wide Web. It's not like the old days when I first started doing music And it was like I only have, or I can only reach the people that's in my vicinity. No, I have the World Wide Web at my disposal. So I'm going to put my music on the World Wide Web. But I'm going to change that price tag because listen, people are listening to my music for pennies. And though I am honored and I really appreciate that, I got kids, man. I can't have people listening to my music, downloading my songs 19 times, 500 times, and then Spotify saying, hey man, here's $10. But they keeping what they're keeping. And my music is helping to maintain their platform. So I made a decision, a very controversial decision. And I said, you know what? My newest album, Limits to Mercy, will only be available in one place. And that is rickthedon.com. If you want to hear Limits to Mercy, arguably the best album I've ever created, and maybe one of the best artworks in terms of rap music in such a long time, right? If you want to hear that, you got to go to rickthedon.com. And really, as of this moment, I have not created a system for people to listen to my music. I'm going to probably do 3 videos for this album, and that's going to be your free samples right there. But if you like those 3 samples, then hey, all right, I'm going to buy this album. Let me tell you something real quick before I get into more. Limits to Mercy is, boy, let me tell you something. I just wrapped up recording last week. My producer came out here. We spent 19 days on this album. That's the longest amount of time I've ever spent on any album that I've ever created. Okay, Immunity, that took about a week and a half. The Rick the Don LP, that took 2 weeks. The Last Lab took about 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. This one, Limits to Mercy, 19 days. No, it was more than 19 days. It was a month, man. Okay, so there you go. As far as features, I got my man Nino Brown. If you know anything about Nino Brown, not Wesley Snipes, by the way, but the homie that be on IG, giving out like motivational quotes, and he a rapper too. And if I'm not mistaken, he from Florida. Please forgive me if I'm wrong about that. All right, Nino Brown. I got Nino Brown on that boy. I got my boy B Rich on there. Now, if you don't know about B Rich, go do your Googles, man. He's one of the first rappers to be signed out of Baltimore. Okay? Come on now. You're supposed to be a hip hop historian, right? That's what you told. That's what you telling people, right? Then, if that ain't enough, I got Quentin Miller. Okay? The ghost himself. I got the Ghost of Christmas Rap Pass. I'm just joking, man. I got Quentin Miller. The GOAT, man. Come on, man. We showing love over here. Quentin Miller is on the album. The man is gifted, bro. Get that man his due. Anyway. All right. Wait a minute. You thought I was done? Okay, you thought I was done. I got Crazy Bone on the album. Who ain't buying this album? Okay? Like, who not buying this album? Now, I'm pretty nice. But I got Crazy Bone on the album. And that should change your whole philosophy about what I'm doing. I got Crazy Bone on the album. Okay? Wait a minute. And there you have it, folks. You think I'm about to put that on Spotify and put that on iTunes and let people listen to that for 1 penny? You know how much it costs to get Crazy Bone on your album? You know how much it costs to get Quentin Miller, B Rich, Nino Brown on your album? It costs money. And guess what? I paid that cost. Now, what I ain't about to do is put that out there on, Spotify and iTunes and say, hey, man, I paid all this money to have these great artists on my album. I paid my producer this great cost. And I paid all these, well, actually it's my engineer, but I paid all these different music producers to come up with these amazing beats. If you know anything about me, my beats is on fire. Listen to any of my albums. My beats is the best ever, like straight up. So I pay all these producers. I pay my engineer. I pay for these features, right? I did all that. And I'm going to put it on Spotify and iTunes and let you listen to it for a penny. Without disrespecting you, because that's not what this is about. Without disrespect whatsoever. That's craziness. That's psychotic. Look, I love people. I love especially people that support me, especially people who listen to my music. I love those kind of people because if they can identify with me, if they can see themselves in me or they can relate to me, they got to be solid, man. They got to be solid. They have to be 100. But if they are as solid as they claim to be, obviously you wouldn't sit well or they wouldn't sit well with you to basically steal from an artist, right? Like, seriously, that's what's happening. Every time you listen to somebody on Spotify, and that's not your fault because this is the way that the game is structured. It's not your fault that rappers are getting stolen from. But here's what it is, man. I'm gonna be the first one to do it because everybody apparently is afraid. Now, the good news and the best thing for me is I don't have a record label deal, contract, what have you. And I never thought that I would be happy to say that. I don't have a deal. And I don't want a deal. I have gotten offers to come and sit in with these different companies. And it's taken me some time to understand why the Lord above has pretty much blocked all these different avenues to have me signed. Okay. It's funny how things work, man. I think that the guys that know what I'm talking about, they probably had a hand in keeping me from being signed. And I couldn't thank them more. All right. I'm certainly appreciative of your blockage, brother. Thank you so much, because now I will not be an employee. I'm going to be the boss of everything I'm doing, because I'm not looking for no handouts, man. That's the only reason I'm signing the deal, is for greater distribution and, you know, more exposure. But hey, man, the thing about me being from Detroit, Michigan, a Midwest guy myself, listen, I understand hard work. I understand what it takes to get out here and grind and do it yourself and how to build it yourself. And that's what we're going to do, man. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge. But I can't remember the last time that I backed down from a challenge. So yes, Limits to Mercy, Crazy Bone, Nino Brown, B Rich, Quentin Miller, Rick the Dawn, Killing It, Binks, my engineer, he's on the album too. So yes, that content will only be available at rickthedon.com, for better or for worse, because I'm fighting the power, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, now look, if this works, you're going to see everybody do it, right? You're going to see everybody do it, because it's going to be like, wait a minute. I just sold 1 million records, or I got 100,000 streams. I don't even know how they counting music sales no more. That's how messed up the game is. When I was growing up, we did record sales. Streams? What is a stream? Man, I don't want no listen, I don't want no stream. You can have your stream. I want record sales. I'll buy my own album. Okay, fine. Nobody want to buy it? Cool. I'm going to tell you this. My album, Limits to Mercy, will be $20. And if you don't got $20, I don't even want you listening to my music. I'll say it again, man. I'm not ashamed to say it. If you don't got $20 to support a entrepreneur / hustler like myself, a musician like myself, if you don't have $20, I don't even want you listening to my music. How about that one? So that's what it is. rickthedon.com, man. $20. Come spend $20 with somebody that's going to take that money and manufacture it in a way that creates more businesses and opportunities for myself and others. Listen, that's what it is. I'm fighting the power. I don't want no record deal. And in fact, I'll put it out there, because there has to be a point where record deals will start to come through, because they've come through plenty of times before. They've come through. This is not news to me, okay? I've been contacted before. It is what it is. So let's make sure we get some things clear, because the first time that I was contacted to come to a certain place to do this whole record deal negotiation, blah, 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 you know, the first time that happened, I didn't have my numbers in place. I didn't have things in place. But this time, I'm just go ahead and just say it. I don't want a deal. But if it just so happens that you can actually meet my particular needs, here's what I would need. No 360 deals, just the distribution deal. That's it. I just need you to distribute my music on your platforms. And as far as a signing bonus or money is concerned, well, I'm glad you asked, because I will not sign any deal for less than $10 million up front. There you go. That's the number. $10 million up front. And for real, if that's a lot of money to you, then you couldn't be the person that is going to have Rick the Dawn under your stable, because you're too cheap. Because my brand is money. You see what I'm saying? My brand is progress and economics. You see what I'm saying? That's what I bring to the game. Like right now, I need to end this podcast because I got guys who need to talk to me right now about other business ventures. You see what I'm saying? And I got them on hold right now as I do my podcast. But I'm about economics. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not about that, if you're not about, hey, this guy is not a rapper. I'm not a rapper, ladies and gentlemen. Record labels. I am not a rapper. That's a very disrespectful term. I am a business. I am a movement. Do you understand what that means? That means that when I open up my mouth, things happen. You ain't going to find that everywhere. And you're not going to find that with everybody. And I say that very carefully. How did I become this particular movement? Well, a lot of hustle, a lot of work, a lot of game, a lot of schooling. Okay. I just dropped out of doctoral school in March. Do you hear what I said? Doctoral school. I could have been Dr. Don on you. But I just say, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to just chill. I might go back. I had about 3 years in doctoral school. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to tell you this. I know my stuff. So $10 million up front. That's before we discuss distribution, sales, and all the other stuff. That's before we even get there. Because frankly, to be clear, I don't need it. I don't need it. I would be more of a benefit to them than they would be to me. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So anyway, I'm fighting the power this way, ladies and gentlemen. First off, really hood, y'all know what it is. I'm fighting the power this way. I'm creating my own platform, and I'm going to put my music on that platform and say, hey, this is where you get that music. Now, the obvious struggle or challenge is to make people actually say, wait a minute, what about your content is so desirable that I'll spend $20? Once again, if you are like scratching your beard, scratching your pockets, like I don't know if the $20, then you're not a listener of mine, because my listeners got bread. You see what I'm saying? If I want something, first off, I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's a cupcake, a wine brand. If I want something, I don't even look at the price tag. So if you're still in that space of price tag watching and all that type of stuff, then there's some levels to this thing. You need to go listen to that first. And then when you get your situation straight, come holler at Rick the Don. You ain't quite where you need to be to listen to me, because I'm progressive. I'm on a different level. I'm not talking about killing people every 5 minutes. So you're still in that particular bracket. And I understand that. I was there too. But now we're talking about economics. We're talking about ownership. We're talking about businesses in lyrical form. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about loving a woman, not women, not a thought. We're talking about loving a woman. You're not there yet. And it's okay. It's okay. But when you get there, when you finally get there, I'm pretty sure that you'll have $20 to spend. You feel me? And that's what it is. That's what I'm doing. You can't be afraid to be different. And you can't be afraid to get your value. You see what I'm saying? Gucci, they could sell their bags and glasses and products and clothing at the same price as Rainbow or Forever 21. Okay, they could do that. But Gucci has made it a very, very prominent point to take a stand and say that this particular brand is not that. So if you want Gucci, you got to pay this particular price. If you want Forever 21 and Rainbow and Forever, all that stuff, you got to go over there. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing. If you want Rick the Don, arguably one of the best rappers of all time, and I dare you go listen to my music and come back and tell me I ain't got a point. Now, I might not be what I say I am, but I'm saying that I'm not far from it. In fact, I'm going to just say I am, man. I don't care, bro. Listen what I said, man. Listen. So if you want Rick the Don, you want that particular content. Now, I'm only speaking to the hustlers. I'm not speaking to everybody. That's the problem. Everybody want to talk to everybody. I'm just talking to the people that's trying to get money. I'm talking to the progressive. And I guess the people who want to be that. If you want Rick the Don, it's going to take you $20. You feel me? And by the way, I already got classics on my website. Go to my website right now, rickthedon.com, and check it out. You know what? This is a good time to segue into some music, man. Hey, so if you're on my podcast, we're going to take a little break. Let's take a Rick the Don moment, and let me show you why I say I'm one of the best out here, man. Check the song out.
I'm wondering, it cuts me deep.
Man, I must be dreaming, scheming, I am that first million. Rappers don't love women, me, I don't love Benjamins. Grants, Jacksons, adding fractions, cause the death of many, man. Get it in, different. Martin King over again, ball all in, college D, club appearance, baby fee, they calling me. What it be? Rick the Don, Rick the King, golden arm, don't worship me. Of course I love my G.O.D. Because of him, they ain't got nothing on me. Got more game than sports TV. Let's get it, who with it? Black on black, exorcism, exercise your right to witness. Told y'all I've been had this vision. Who feel this? I feel this. This is not some kind of joke. Flow is dope, cracking coke, likes a flip, somersault. The word is cold, cuz so grab that coat. Swear I wish I could send no more. I rope it dope, take them blows. You're the best, I'm the GOAT. Cons and pros, new and old, I'm better off either way. Man, I pray for a better day. Hun, I pray for a better day.
All right, so check it. That's what it was, man. I told you. My music is like that, man. And if you don't think that's worth at least $20, listen, I digress. So, I'm just letting you all know that if this works, It's going to be a big change. Listen, check. This is my last point right here. Somebody on a record label could sell, let's say, they'll probably get 500,000 streams. Let's use that number. They get 500,000 streams, right? And then what do they get for those 500,000 streams? They might get a $300 check. All right. They might get a $300 check for 500,000 streams. And I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling you facts, man. They might get about $300, $1,500 max. You see how that works? Okay. Now, me, Rick the Don, when I release my album on rickthedon.com exclusively for $20, I can sell 60,000 records. And if you know math, 60,000 times 20, do the math on that and get back, come back and holler at me. You think I want a record deal when I can sell 60,000 records and make that kind of money independently, where I'm only sharing money with my payment processing companies like PayPal or Stripe? And I'm talking about, I'm only sharing about 2.5% of my revenue with those particular payment processing companies. I'm only splitting my money with a payment processing company. And that company only wants 2.5% of my total revenue from sales. I like that deal. Why would I bypass that deal and instead go with a record label who wants a lot more from a pot that's a lot smaller? It's real simple, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not speaking in algorithms here. I'm talking common sense. So that's what it is, man. Fighting the power. All right. And I need everybody that's bumping this right now, everybody that's watching me, everybody that's listening right now. I need you to support it. I need you to support it. Because let me tell you something. If I succeed with this, I'm a very generous guy. Everybody knows that who knows me. I'm very real with mine, man. I'm not selfish. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people are selfish. And that's why we're in this situation. Because some people want it all to themselves. But if Rick the Don get it, I already got it. But if I get it, you get it. Okay? I got stuff in the works right now that just blow past anybody's imagination. But obviously, things are not built overnight. It takes time, right? And it definitely takes money. So that's what it is. Fight the power, man. Help me fight the power. But anyway, that's it for today. I'm not the kind of person that's going to drag out these episodes with a whole bunch of gibberish. We're going to get to the point and then we're going to get out the point. All right. So before I disperse, I'll say this. reallyhood.com, man. If you are an artist and you want to be seen by the world, you want people to check out your content, listen, I'm only charging like $25 to post your music on my site. All right. Now compare that to the big boys out here. To post your music on their site, you're going to be paying about $1,000. Rightfully so. Okay. I understand that my platform is still coming up and it's still being built. It's still being worked out. So I'm only charging $25, but that price will not stay there forever. So I'm just letting you know, hey, you see what I'm doing, man. You see what I'm doing. I'm about progress. So if you're trying to get on that train, rickthedon.com or reallyhood.com in this case. You feel me? But anyway, that's it for today. It's been solid. Don't forget to support my Patreon. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Don't forget to, download, like, share, all that cool stuff, man. Support me because, like I said, when you support me, you support the real. That's real talk. Let's get it.
Yeah, I used to roll backwoods. Rick the Don's good wherever he goes. 1 million and one flows, depositing dough. Said you down with the mafia family, let me know. Yeah, number one, I don't do number two. They watching how I do because I'm really hood. Red hoodie, gold jewelry, too groovy. Might lose me, don't approach with the foolery. Keep the two on me, homie. You don't know me, Rick the Don, the one and only. Yeah.
Hey, yo, it's Rick the Don. Welcome. This is the Really Hood podcast, which is brought to you by reallyhood.com. It is an awesome space for independent artists. Go check it out. Today's episode, we will be talking about a deal with the devil. It is a choice that a lot of musicians often find themselves in. And I want to provide some information to make that decision a little easier. First off, let's talk about who you're making this deal with. His name is Satan, often known as the devil or Lucifer. He also has another name that you might not know about. It is Old Nick. Let's start off with a quick history lesson. Lucifer was once an angel in heaven. He got jealous of God and he rounded up some demons to go and challenge God and hopefully take over heaven, and he lost dramatically. And he was kicked out of heaven and cast down to earth, which is why we have so much chaos down here, because we're down here with them. No, they were not strong enough to overcome heaven or God or the angels. However, they can definitely pose a great threat to human beings. After being kicked out of heaven, the devil was obviously very upset and vengeful, and he wanted to get back at God. And how did he choose to do that? He chose to do that by corrupting something that he knew God loved, which is us. The Bible states that human beings are crafted in the image of God, which means we are crafted in a way that resembles God. And I think that Satan understood that and wanted to corrupt us, since he was not strong enough to corrupt or damage or fight or overtake God himself. So we were the next best option. And one talent that the devil had was music. That is one thing that he has exploited greatly, especially now. If you go and listen to the radio, go listen to some rap or hip hop, come back and tell me what you heard. And I don't have to do that because I already know what I'm going to listen to and what I'm going to hear. Here it is. You're going to hear a lot of money, cash, death, murder, drugs, sex. That's what you're going to hear. And if you really think about it, why does the music sound that way? I'll tell you in case you don't know. It's because Satan himself is integrated in the hip hop music. And Satan was a musician. He was a very talented musician. He knew how to sway people's emotion with his tunes. And he's still doing that to this very day. And you have to be careful about what you're allowing into your spirit via music. And I know that I am not the poster boy for this point, because I know I make music and some of it is a little questionable. I will admit that. But my latest album, I've tried my best to really make sure that I was more cognizant of my message and what I was saying, while at the same time retaining that hard hitting, feeling that my music is known for. Nevertheless, you have to be careful what you're allowing into your spirit, because what you don't quite realize is, and you may or you may not, I don't want to, just suggest that you don't know this, but music affects you subconsciously. That just means that you don't necessarily know it's happening. You just know that your behavior is changing. I'll give you a great example of this. I'm going to say something that is inside you that you probably forgot was there, but when I say this, you're going to feel something. Watch. Ray Robin. You heard that? Did you hear that in your brain? You didn't control that. And that's the point I'm trying to make. These things, music, especially melody, can get inside you and affect you in really dangerous ways if you're not prepared for that type of stuff. And that's what music does. So you're listening to hip hop and you listen to murder, sex, killing, drug, blah, 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 non-stop. And then you wonder why your behavior has changed. You wonder why you're sitting inside of a jail cell right now. It's because you've listened to that so long that it's become who you are. You have to be careful what you're listening to, because it is unwiring you on a subconscious level. That means you can't control it. You understand what I'm saying? And Satan, better than most people or anyone, knows that. Okay, so what does he do? He integrates himself into the music and he infects people like a virus. And I was watching a video by Cameo, the same group that sung Just Like Candy. I was watching that and I saw the lead singer. He had like this like red, it was like a protective cup around his genital area. And I was like, man, that's kind of, that's kind of strange. Why he doing that? And what it told me was, that's because that was the most popular form of music back in that time. And what did Satan do? He integrated himself with that music because he knew that most young and impressionable people would be listening to Cameo. And at that particular time, that was the best way to get his message out and to get himself out. So he integrated himself with that form of music. He wasn't really worried about hip hop because hip hop wasn't dominant yet. But as hip hop became more dominant, you can now hear him shift to hip hop because all you hear now is sex. All type of stuff, murder, killing, gangs, shooting, murder, kill your brother, kill everybody, kill the aunties, all that. And that's a direct correlation to his shift from, these other forms of music to what's more popular, because we all know that hip hop is the most popular form of music right now going. As far as Cameo, Nobody even knows who that is. So that's my first point. When you sell your soul to the devil, you have to understand you are being used. You're being used for a purpose that will not benefit you in the end. You're only being used because at that particular time you have the gifts or the mechanics to get his message across. That's not what's up. Because once you're finished being used, he's going to throw you to the side. That's the first thing. You're going to get old and you're going to go away. Nobody's going to even know your name. I don't care how big you are, how popular you are. There is a bottom for you. There is space at the bottom for you. And that's what a lot of musicians fail to realize. They think that they're at the top and they can't come down. Oh, yes, you can. Either these evil forces will tear you down or you will just stop being noticed or people will stop caring because, it's no longer on you. There's a thing called time. And with time, a lot of people will age and there will become a new version of what you bring to the table. And that's the thing. Cameo in his time or whatever the group is called. I don't really know all the details, but I would say Cameo, the group at that time, was the hottest thing smoking. But they can't compete because over time they have been replaced by the new Cameo, which probably is some kind of hip hop group out there, right? And that's what happens, folks. So let's go ahead and talk about this deal, because what probably happens is these young, impressionable guys are promised all type of things in exchange for success and wealth. And who am I to tell you not to do it? I can't tell you not to do it, but what I can do is say, here's some things you should be very cognizant of. Number one is you're taking a crappy deal, okay? The average person will live from 1 year old to probably 150. There's not many people who's gonna grow or live past 150. Can we agree on that? So that means whatever deal you get, it will only be good for about 150 years maximum. But you want to know what's on the other side of that 150 years? The rest of eternity. So whatever deal you get, you are pretty much guaranteed 150 years of happiness. Let's say your life is absolutely magical. You're only going to get about 150 years of magicalness. But after that deal expires, you have to deal with the rest of eternity without that deal in place because you'll be dead. And to give you an analogy of that point, that's like somebody coming to you and saying, hey, I'll give you $150 for $1 billion. Do you accept my deal? And a lot of these artists say yes. Hey, I will take that $150 and I'll give you $1 billion of my dollars for that $150, because that's pretty much what's happening. You're taking a deal that's worth 150 years in exchange for the rest of eternity of your life and existence for the rest of eternity. That's a terrible deal. And if you know anything about what the Bible says about the devil, then you would know that the Bible says that Satan is the king and father of lies. So not only are you taking a bad deal, you're taking a bad deal from the father of lies. That's like the father of lies coming to you and saying, hey, I'll give you this stick for your entire shoe collection. Not only is that a bad deal, but you're being told this deal by the father of lies, which means once they make the transaction, you might not even get the stick. You might not even get the stick because you made a deal with the father of lies. Okay? Think about that for a minute. Rewind it. Because that's what's happening with a lot of these musicians. When you go into these boardrooms and you're sitting with these executives, you might not see the devil, standing in a corner with a little pitchfork. It doesn't look like that because, again, we know that the devil shapeshifts and he can manipulate people subconsciously even. So you might not see him because it's spiritual, right? So he'll be manipulating the executive and the words will be coming through the executive. But you always have to ask yourself, where is these words coming from? If you listen to the words that anybody speaks, you can hear what spirit is actually in control of the words. That's why I told you, go listen to the radio and listen to what's being heard and ask yourself truthfully, who is this message coming from? If they're talking about money, drugs, cars, sex, and females in a derogatory way, who is presenting this message? Why am I getting it? And if you go into these boardrooms with these executives, don't look for the devil because he won't be there physically. He'll be there spiritually. And you have to listen to what the people in that room are saying. And that is how you decipher who's in there with you. So what happens is these guys are sitting across from these executives who are being manipulated by Satan himself. And they're giving these people these terrible deals. They may come across as very genuine. Hey, we love you. We think you're really, really amazing. So-and-so's did it. Look at his career. Look at her career. They've done it. But what they never tell you is what happens after the fact. That's the part they never tell you. That's the part they leave out. What happens once you pass away? What? And sometimes, like I said, they'll take all this stuff away from you before you pass away. Let's say you keep it your entire life and you live the greatest life and you're the top rapper, singer for all time. But what happens when you die? The devil can't guarantee you safety after you die. He couldn't even overtake heaven. So how in the world do you believe that the devil is going to keep you safe post-death? How do you think that? You think if the devil was that powerful to protect you past death, If he was that powerful, then he would have overtaken heaven years ago, centuries ago. It's a reason why he was not able to do so, because he's not all powerful. He can't do it. He doesn't have the power to do it. So you're making a deal with somebody that is not even at the top of the ladder. You're making a deal with somebody who's at the bottom, because we already know who's at the top of the ladder and who kicked Satan out the top of the ladder, or from the top of the ladder to the bottom. You're making a deal with the bottom ring. The bottom rung of the ladder. And because he's the father of lies, he's able to trick you into doing such things. Hey, you got the guy at the very, very bottom of the ladder telling you that he can promise you all these different things. And, unfortunately, because we have human brains and he's spiritual, and again, he used to be an angel, which means he already came into the game with more understanding than you about a lot of things. You got somebody at the bottom rung of the ladder telling you that they're promising you these things, right? And because you don't have the Holy Spirit helping you decipher all these different words and messages, you can't tell the devil like no. So you get manipulated at the end of the day. This entity at the bottom rung of the ladder is telling you, I will give you a lifetime of happiness, money, and enjoyment for your soul, and the permission to use you as I see fit. That is a terrible deal, because you would probably only live about 150 years maximum. And after that time has expired, then you have to deal with who's at the top of the rung, who he already knows, the devil, he already knows he has no say so when it goes up to him. So here's the thing. Because I know what happens. The devil promises all these things that he know he can't fulfill. But because he's the father of lies, and most people have not been taught how to decipher those lies, they believe it. What's going to probably happen, I'll give you a spoiler alert. What's going to probably happen is you're going to live this very awesome life. You'll be known and you'll be seen as the greatest of greatest, the beautifulest of beautifulest. And then when you die, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. When you get there, he going to be like,
hey man, I'm sorry. I thought I could do it.
Because he's the father of lies. He's lying to you, okay? He's not gonna. When you get to hell, you're gonna burn just like he do, like he gonna burn. If you ain't got your soul right with God, you're gonna burn just like he gonna burn. The Bible already told us what's gonna happen to Satan. He's gonna get tossed in the lake of fire. It's a wrap for him. And so here's the thing: the devil got life. He got life. We ain't talking about jail life. We're talking about eternal life. He got a life sentence. When this world is over, he will be cast into a lake of fire for all eternity. And if you know anything about like jail, when a person has life, they ain't got nothing to lose. So they will tell anybody anything and they'll do anything. You're making a deal with a person who has life. Like when this world is done, and Jesus comes back and he pulls who he pulls, it's over. It's game over. And Satan knows that he has nothing coming after that. So he's making deals with everybody. He's telling everybody everything. And if you don't know better, you're going to fall for a lot of these tricks. That's like going to jail. You're a new guy, right? And a guy who has life come up to you and say, hey man, I'll give you $1,000 if you give me 150 of those honey buns. To you, you're like, oh wait, so he'll give me $1,000 just for 150 honey buns. I wonder why he won't just go buy 150 honey buns if he got $1,000. You want to know why? Because he's lying. That's why. So then this new person accepts the deal. Say, all right, cool, man. Here's $1,000, bro. Hey, I appreciate it. So when I get my honey buns, 150 honey buns. Hey, so I'll get them to you next week. This is what a lot of musicians are dealing with. They're getting this kind of deal. So check it out. They get the 150 honey buns, but what they don't realize is those honey buns are infected. And when they eat it, they're going to die. That's what this is. So yeah, you might see the money. Yes, you might get the cars. Yes, you might get the girls. But when it's all said and done, all this stuff is really just going to destroy you at the end of the day. And then at that point, it's too late. You can't do what you're going to do. You're going to go back to you can't go back to him because he did what he was supposed to do. He used you as a vehicle. And now that you're no longer relevant, he's going to toss you to the side. And who knows what's going to happen to you at that point. And then when you die, you got to deal with the real king. The one that even Satan is afraid of. If Satan could beat God, he would have did it already. He couldn't do it. You want to know why? Because he doesn't have the power to do it. And this is what I'm pleading with you. All right. The people that know who I'm talking to, I'm pleading with you to understand this game that you're in. You made a deal with the devil and you might have all type of things. I'm sure you probably do at this point. What I'm trying to explain to you, you gave up your entire existence for 150 years. And right now that seems like a good deal. And when you go to retrieve your prize from the devil, he going to be like,
I ain't got it.
How he gonna promise you something that he can't promise himself? Okay, he can't promise you a special seat in hell because he gonna be in fire. It's a wrap for him. He know that. Anyway, all right. I'm stopping here. Let's take a break and check out this tune. When I come back, we'll wrap this conversation up.
Lord, forgive them, for they know not who they push. Come on, stop me. We too large, in charge. Hater, do you better just watch me. We go hard. Mr. We done seen it all. Really, what's new? That's why they follow me. Yo, my life is drama free. Look, try to do me, they gon' do you. So take it easy. Ricky's raw. Monsters bash, monsters ball. Where my dog? Gotta get it, they don't do it like I did it. Like Charlie Sheen, I'm winning. Strapped like MC8 in Menace. I'm all about my business, all about my pleasure too. Sorry, it's just how we do. Kick it slow to get it through. Straps on deck to show we dudes. Look all the BS I've been through. So-called beef for haters who just don't have a freaking clue. But really though, I'm all about my figures. Yo, Lord Jesus, so tell the devil, ooh,
What a strong girl.
who fears demons or anything similar. Don't let them dummies gas you up. They ain't hard, they scared of us. Fear no man, only God can kill a soul. Keep a strap for a 50-50 chance, yo. Come on, stop me. We too large, in charge. Hater, do you better just watch me. We go hard. Mr. We done seen it all. Really, what's new? That's why they follow me. Yo, my life is drama free. Look, try to do me, they gon' do you. So take it easy. Ricky's raw. Monsters bash, monsters ball. Where my dogs? War's beautiful, perfect. One thing it don't involve talking. Boy, the devil know he's scared too. Gotta be dumb if you don't think I'm prepared to. Gauge by the dough, 38 by my shoes. I don't think even you can find hotter shoes. It's cool, just ice skating in Wonderland. Sub-zero's the temperature, too cold for scorpions. Damn, better run to your mans again. I know your little secret, half these rappers is mannequins. Bet you get pedicures and manicures, and I'm stumping through leans like a matador. Come on, stop me, we too large, in charge. Hater, do you better just watch me. We go hard. Mr. We done seen it all. Really, what's new? That's why they follow me. Yo, my life is drama free. Look, try to do me, they gon' do you. So take it easy. Ricky's raw. Monsters bash, monsters ball. Where my dog? What's a metaphor? Literally, your last album stunk. Chitterlings, I don't listen to nothing new. I'm vintage. Baby girl, before you try dawn, spinach. I'm being nice, I could dim your lights. You cats better obey me like Sprite. I'm like 5 stars in one, like night. I fought 5 people at once, life bites. This is the major leagues, you got it twisted. This dork soul is soul, I can't rap against them. You are non-existent. Oh, you off that helium? Good, I pop balloons and burn biscuits. Come on, stop me, we too large, in charge. Hater, do you better just watch me. We go hard. Mr. We done seen it all. Really, what's new? That's why they follow me. Yo, my life is drama free. Look, try to do me, they gon' do you. So take it easy. Ricky's raw. Monsters bash, monsters ball. Where my dogs?
All right, welcome back. Let's wrap this up. It's a lot of information I gave out in this episode. First off, Satan is a manipulator. He was kicked out of heaven. He had the talent of music, and he's now affecting the dominant form of music on earth, which is rap music right now. In about 50 to 100 years, it'll be something else. He won't be thinking about these rappers no more. He'll be thinking about something. There'll be something else that's hot, that's affecting the youth, and he'll be messing with that and promising them the same thing he promising you today, right? So what you want to do is you want to hold firm. You want to be strong. You don't want to cave in and expose yourself, because that 150-year deal he gonna give you, he don't tell you the little terms in the contract, and he don't tell you that once you pass away, you're doomed. You're doomed, not only for 150 years, but for the rest of time. And honestly, there are times when he'll doom you while you're still here on earth. There's a lot of people who can't even be themselves because if they tried to be themselves or they did certain things, the devil will renege on that contract a lot sooner. And please understand that the devil is not walking around here with no red horns and wearing all red and with a pitchfork. That's childish. Okay, this thing here can manipulate. He can transform. He can talk through people. So when you're listening to people talk, ask yourself what they're saying, and then ask yourself, who does this message most likely come from? Okay, is this trying to help me or trying to hurt me? Okay, and if it's trying to hurt you, you better put your armor on. You better understand what the game is, because most likely there's something out there trying to take you out. Here's what it is, man. I can't tell you what to do because it's your life and ultimately your afterlife. They always say YOLO, like you only live once. And I always laugh at that because you definitely don't just live once. You don't live once. You live once on this earth, but once this life on this earth is done, you're going to live again. And you got to make sure that you're not living or playing a short-sighted game. This is chess, not checkers. A lot of people live for immediate gratification. And immediate gratification, though it feels great for that moment and that time, it is not all that you need to consider. You will also live after this, and you have to make sure that you set that person up, because that person is going to look back and say, what in the world was you thinking? All right, you made a deal for 150 years, and I got to suffer for all. You don't want to make a deal like that. You want your future self to look back and say, my man, good job. I'm so glad you put your morals first. And when you're presented with these deals, first off, do everything in your power not to even come in a space where you have to make these deals, because in a lot of cases you feel cornered and you have to make that deal, because if you don't make that deal, it could probably mean your life. But when you set the parameters of who you are beforehand, they won't even bring you into the meeting because they already know, like, this guy is just a waste. We'll be wasting our time with this guy. And that's what you want. You want who you are to be already out there. Like, I'm this person. And by all means, if you find yourself in these positions, then you got to be ready to just put it all on the line for what you believe in. That's what I always say. Even if this little human life is cut short, you got to remember there's another one. And, a lot of people value this life so much that they forget the other side of it. Okay, so sometimes you got to stand firm on what you believe in and also be ready to deal with the consequences for standing for what you believe in. A deal with the devil is a silly deal because he's at the bottom rung. When it comes to the spirit world, he can't control much of nothing. That's why he keep bothering these human beings. That's why you see all these men shooting each other down, and these women stabbing because he can control human beings. That's about the only thing he got dominion over in terms of power. But when it comes to that spiritual realm, he's at the bottom of the rung. And we know that because if he was strong enough to take on God, he would have did it. He don't got the power to. He doesn't have the dominion to. He doesn't have the control. He doesn't have the team. He doesn't have it. As a final point, what happens if you've already sold your soul over? What happens if you've been living the wrong life for all this time? God understood what had happened. He didn't just leave us hanging. When he kicked the devil out of heaven, he saw what the devil did. He went through and started corrupting everything and turning man against each other and having men kill their brother, and all these different things start to happen. And pretty much, to be honest with you, the world became corrupt. It became a very bad place. And I would argue it's still pretty bad to this day as far as the people on it and the people that's occupying the earth. But yes, God did come up with a fail-safe, and it is Jesus. So he sent his son to go through the entire spectrum of a human life without sin. And guess what the devil did? He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He saw the Son of God, and just like he be seeing us, the only difference is when he went to challenge Jesus and give him all these little things, these little deals, Jesus declined. Go read that story. It's a beautiful story. The devil
said, I'll give you all this. I'll make you the king of all this stuff.
And Jesus said, no, I'm good, bro. You don't even I know the real God. You can't trick me because I know who really runs this and has control of all this stuff. It ain't you. How you gonna give me a deal with something you don't have control of?
That was it. That's why we still have a way out. So Jesus is your key to getting back to where you want to be. And if you have not accepted Jesus yet, it's simple. All you got to do is in your own space, in your own time, say, Jesus, I want you to be the head of my life. I am giving my life to Jesus. Give your life to Jesus. He is your last chance. I don't care if you sold your soul to the devil or not. At the end of the day, he doesn't have the final say. You sold your soul to the devil, so be it. But guess what? Jesus trumps that. Jesus is more powerful than that deal. While you're in prayer, say, Lord Jesus, I accept you as my Lord and Savior. I know I've not been the right person for a long time. I love you and I want to start today. You can start right now. Have that conversation with Jesus. Have that conversation with God, and be serious about it. Go into a closet, close the door, and just pray. And the Lord will save you, man. He saved me. All right, and I'm nobody special. So I know he'll save you. You know, it's never too late. You can always give your life to Christ, man. And it's not about religion and all that other stuff. This is about your soul. All right. A lot of people don't follow Christ because of what some human being did. Listen, those people will have to face God just like everybody else. Don't base your belief in God over something a pastor did, over something your auntie, your uncle did, your father did, over something you heard. No, base it based on what you feel. So if you go and pray to God and you don't feel nothing, then by all means, ignore what I'm saying. But I promise you, if you go into a closet and you pray to God himself and you pray to Jesus, you will feel them. They'll be there. I promise you. Go do it. Okay, if you've never done it before, I don't care if you believe in this, believe in that. Go do what I just said. Go into a closet, close that door, and pray to Jesus, pray to God, and repent for your sins, and give your life to Christ. And I promise you, you will hear him talk to you. But that's what it is, man. I'm done. I love this episode, and I'm glad that I was able to say it. I'm glad I had the courage to put it out there. Don't sell your soul for nothing. There's nothing more important than your soul, and definitely don't sell it to the person at the bottom of the ladder. That's a bad deal. Hold on to your soul and see if you can talk to God about it. Like, hey, I still got my soul. You want to make a deal? I been did it. I been made a deal with God. Hey, you can have my soul, and I will give my whole life to you. That's why I'm doing this episode, because I've been sold my soul to God. I ain't even sell it to him. I just gave it to him. I've been gave it to him. And in exchange, I said, I will do what you want me to do. And that's why I'm doing this episode, because I'm doing what I told him I would do for exchange for my soul. I gave him my soul, and I said, I'll work for you, and I'll bring more souls to you. That's what these rappers is doing, except they're doing it for the devil. And when they bring these people over, they end up corrupting these kids. And these kids end up, wondering how they in jail, wondering why they in the coffin, because they've been listening to the wrong seller. But see, me, I'm here to create prosperity. I'm here to help people, find the right version of themselves and be, prosperous and to be, happy. That's what I'm here for, because I'm working for him. You feel me? And that's the difference. But that's it. I'm done. It's been good.